Hello, everyone. Good morning. Morning. Thank you so much, Mandla. I don't think the diva thing has changed. I think it has just grown over time. Um, I'm so grateful that I get to stand here. I'm always grateful when I get an opportunity to represent the voice of young people. I think the one thing you didn't mention is that Daily Maverick actually dubbed me the youth climate champion for Nelson Mandela Bay when we were launching the climate resilience strategy, which was also a great platform to speak on as a young person. So you asked, when Nusiva spoke to me, she asked me to speak in terms of waste and what we as young people can do, or what capacity building opportunities are there for young people in terms of being part of resilience, being part of adaptation when it comes to climate change. So I'll speak at most within the work that I currently do and the work that I've done. As you've mentioned, I do volunteer my time as the communications officer for the Motherwell Community and Enviro Hub. And what we do there is we recycle. We have recycling, and we have food gardens, and we have environmental education awareness. And I think some of the stakeholders who partner with us are actually in the room. So within CYDA, we're currently focusing on driving community-led action, right? So that's capacitating young people and giving them ideas on what enterprises they could start developing that actually address and speak towards climate change. It was just last week where where Palisa, beautiful Palisa over here, was facilitating that process of what social enterprise ideas are there. So you could look at recycling your paper, your cardboard, everything we've just spoken about, your paper, your cardboard, your plastic bottles, your plastics, and all the other recyclable materials. It would have been nice if I actually had an example here. So that I could show everyone. But essentially, I think once you're in the space of recycling, you get to learn that there's different commodities even within plastic. So not all plastic is the same, and the way we recycle plastic is not the same. In the same as paper, there's glossy paper. There's paper that isn't glossy, that's just white paper. You recycle those differently. But once you get into the space within spaces, the people within the market, like Retrade, when you go and become a seller, so you recycle, you become a litter picker, or you ask the people at home to please sort their waste. So the process starts with sorting, right? It becomes an easier and less tedious process when you sort from separation at source. We always encourage that. And I think that's something that's lacking in South Africa, where you see bins that are clearly demarcated. We're trying to improve it, but it's not going as fast as it should. So separation at source is very important. So you put your plastics all together, you put your aluminium, your cans all together, you put your paper all together so that your paper and your cardboard specifically, they don't get wet, because it becomes impossible and to sell them, or to weigh them and get their actual size when you have to sell them if they are wet. And then the other very interesting part, which we found to be interesting for young people, is fashion. So we're currently within our project where we're recycling denim. Because denim, it takes a tedious process, and it requires a lot of water in its creation, and it must be dyed. So it's not, the process of creating denim is really not kind to our planet. It's not kind to our natural resources. So with that, what we're doing is we're saying, if you feel like your jeans, you've been wearing them for a long time, and now they're out of color, or they're torn maybe just between the legs, we could use that. Because what we're doing is we're creating bags, and we're also creating hats from those. So those are some of the ideas that we're sharing with young people. We're saying it's possible. Start with what you have. And I think that's what climate change, or rather the topic and the conversation, is bringing to us. It's saying with everything that we have, if we could keep it for longer in cycle, we could actually make a difference and adapt and mitigate. I'm so sorry. Only thank you, Vali. Thank you. And mitigate. So I've just spoken about recycling. You recycle the things that you use every day at home, and you also can then look at thrifting your clothes instead of buying new clothes all the time. And also just going back to the way that we've always done things. Sasisithi xa impahla zam ndigqibile uzinxiba kanye ndingekagqibi, if I have a younger sister, I just hand them over to my younger sister. And it's also things like that. That's a conversation we're having with young people to take away the stigma of doing just that, of me actually receiving clothes from my older sibling and wearing them with pride. I think I personally just love clothes that have been worn by other people because I think they have nice personality and character. It's just my thing. And they have a story to tell. So we're giving clothes a second chance. So within thinking of ideas of resilience, that's also one of them. And then also circularity, because we're talking circular economy. And we're saying if things can stay for longer in cycle, and if we can understand the value of waste, there actually is no waste. Maybe those chip packets, they are the one thing we really do not need to create more of, but there's absolutely no waste. Everything can be crushed down to its small particles and then rebuilt back up again. So that's the conversation we're currently having with young people. And how am I on time? I'm done with time. Okay, yes. So I think that's it from me. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you so much to Lusanda. Again, in the same fashion as our first speaker, we'll just take a few hands. Perhaps there are any pressing issues that one might like to inquire or just ask about. You're more than welcome to pose your questions. So just by a show of hands. Okay, I've got one question.
Okay, currently, since we are still more in introduction space, the creatives, what they're doing is they're creating the products, and then we go to markets and sell those. But we're looking with the Motherwell Community and Enviro Hub becoming more formal, we're looking to create an outlet just there. So currently, we don't have one. We're refining our products too, so we're still growing. But we are looking for that donation of denim. We'd appreciate it at the hub. We could receive it at the hub. Thank you so much.
Oh, okay. Lusanda, I want to know that I heard that you have got a garden.
Yes.
And then I hear around that, where did you get the compost to put in your garden? Because I heard about when you're cutting the grass, and then the grass is good also for the compost. Are you using there in your gardens or not? It's not good, the grass when you're cutting. Thank you.
Thank you, Mamam. I think that touches on the farming God's way of farming, where you actually you reuse the resources that are already there. Currently, our gardens, Damesta would have more information. So if you have, I'm so happy he's right here. He's our champion for our gardens, so he can answer. He can answer within those lines and give you a clear understanding of how that process is going. I haven't been to them since I've been back, but at most, I think they are adopting that way where the grass. I think Mama kuyahlakulwa kubekwe ingca ngaphezulu xa sekulinyiwe ingathi yenziwa la process bayayenza because they're adopting permaculture ways of farming so that we can have organic product coming out of it. Mama. Enkosi also for sharing. Damest.